You know, I'd like to show you something that encompasses all the skills that go on in a lab like this, and it was a project that was very dear to my heart. And I did it back in the time when all the kids' prosthetic hands were very mechanical at that time, and I thought that it could be so much better than that. So encompassing all these skills that go on in this lab, I just combined them all into one project. So I went into my cave for 3 months. Nobody knew what I was doing. I wouldn't tell anybody. And then when I finished it, I put it on the internet looking for a home for this prosthetic hand, and it was overwhelming. It went viral. And I had countries contacting me that they wanted 60 hands, 60 kids that needed hands, and I could only help one. And I found a little boy in Texas, Tyler, and on January 6th of 2015, I drove 1,200 miles and gave it to him on his 8th birthday. And it had to light up. If it didn't light up, to me it was a fail. And actually, when we were driving there, it still wasn't functional. Like the electronics weren't done. It was completed, but the electronics weren't done. So as we're driving to Louisiana, my friend's driving the car, I'm soldering as we're driving. And we're hitting those bumps in the road, and he's going bump, bump as I'm taking the soldering iron off as we're soldering, as we're like on the 10 driving to Texas. So I gave it to him, and he put it on, and he goes, thrusters on. And this was my end picture. I had this end goal that this little kid, whether it was a boy or a girl, would put on his hand and it would light up. Because to me, now they're like a little superhero. So that's just one of the cool things it does, but it has lasers in it, so the little kid can fire things, and I could have put real lasers in there, but this is for kids. And what else it does is it has a capacitive sensor, so he can use his iPad so he can work his left-right hand dominance. He has a magnet in the finger so he can pick up metal-y things. Inside, he has a microcontroller, so he can plug in with the USB and learn how to program his hand on his hand. And so his dad made a cast of his hand, and that's little Iron Kid Tyler's hand. And that's his wrist right there. And with the part of the hand that he has, I replicated this in simulation so I could actually simulate his movements to be able to make this hand move. So with the hand he has, he can bend this hand and it will grab things. So it not only has cool electronic features, but it actually functions. So here, like I can pick up this little car and I can put it back down. So it also has a 9 degree of freedom sensor in here. So it has an accelerometer, gyromagnetometer. It has Bluetooth, it talks to an app. So it's actually in essence a game controller right in his hand. And it has a summoning device, so his mom can actually summon Iron Kid from inside the house. He could be out in the backyard, and his mom could press the summon button and the hand will vibrate and light up, just kind of like a real superhero.
There's something that you mentioned before that I thought it was pretty cool. What if he's watching television with a little sister? So
that's the part I find like most fun. It's this middle diode that's clear, and the other two are red. So that's clear because that's a infrared LED. And in essence, that's a universal remote control. He has a universal remote control in his hand, on his hand. And so what he can do is this button here does television on, this button here does channel up, and this one does channel down. So picture he's in the living room watching television with his little sister, and she's got the remote control. And she goes, My Little Pony, and he goes, SpongeBob. My Little Pony, SpongeBob. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to take something that was normally seen one way and flip it around. And flip it around and make the little boy, the little kid, whether it was a boy or a girl, that would be made fun of, and just now make him the coolest kid. And I think that kind of happened, because a few months after I gave Iron Kid Tyler this, I saw Robert Downey Jr. give a boy an Iron Man arm. And that organization, Limitless, which was from UCF right up the road, they contacted me and they said that this was a huge inspiration for what they did. So, you know, if you do something with passion, you can have this huge ripple effect down the road.
That's really cool. What was, you know, when you handed the hand to Tyler, like, what was the look on his face?
There's little videos on the internet.
Yeah.
He was, he was blown away. Everybody was blown. It was one of those. There were moments in my life. I'm not young, getting up there a little bit, but there were moments in my life. But that was one of the most like incredible moments of my life.
So I can imagine, you know, how that make you feel.
Yeah, to this day, it will never get old. And I stay in contact with the family, you know, and that time of the year, you know, every year at Tyler's, you know, birthday, I wish him happy birthday, and the parents just go, thank you so much again. So one point about Tyler was most of these hands are given out to kids in these big media centers, and it's a big event. We didn't want this to be a big event. And he's from a small little town in Texas called Anahuac of 2,400 people. So they don't even have a traffic light, but now they do. He can like stop traffic. But he was the kid that I thought would be the kid that's left out of the kids that were left out. You know, he's so far out. So that's why, to me, he was the one why I chose him, because he was like the real super kid, like from Smallville.